Alright, hello GDQ. This is gonna be my submission VOD for Octopath Traveler Tressa Percent. This is my PB video. I'm post-recording commentary on it just to explain more of the run because it's not really explained here. So we start off with just beginning cutscenes in the intro section. Nothing much happens here. We buy a weapon called the wolf bow because it increases our magical attack stat. And I guess I should explain how basic Octopaths work. Well, for combat, I can explain that later. So we just run around with B. So Tressa Percent, or what I call it, Tressa Percent. It's a single story run where you complete the chapter 4 of one character. This character being Tressa. And we go through the game, get all the items we need, kill all of Tressa's bosses. Fairly simple. We have to start out with Tressa as the main protagonist, and the run ends when we view the credits, which are pretty good. So now we use Tressa's special ability, Purchase, to buy items. We're gonna see this a lot throughout the run because we buy items throughout the whole game. Or not really throughout the whole, we buy items for the whole game. And you'll see us when we make our big shopping trip, or shopping detour, that means. So right now we're heading to the Cave of the Maya. And here, if we want really good RNG, my PB didn't get really good RNG, you usually get 2 encounters here, and they're both this bird, which will pop up in a second. You can get 3 encounters here, that's just unlucky. That's how the step counter works. It picks a random step value, you can run that far, and then you get an encounter. We want to see 2 of these birds. You need at least 6 JP to continue on for routing reasons later. And combat, magic, how that works. Magic will take your magical attack of your highest weapon and apply that to your damage. And then physical attacks will take the weapon attack and then you hit. And also, more things about the combat because I'll explain the other things. We usually break enemies before we do anything because that does more damage, but if you break an enemy and flee, you can usually run away 100% of the time. Breaking the enemy, you just hit them with what they're weak to. All the enemies here are weak to either dagger or bow, or not dagger, spear or bow, so you pick one or the other and kill. And then fun fact, this is the only cutscene in the game, this one right here, that you can just mash to skip because it's super fast. So now we enter the first dungeon of the game. We grab 1 item here just for the boss kill, and it's a Thunder Soulstone. You'll be seeing them a lot throughout the game. Soulstones are basically cheap or easy ways to do lots of damage without spending your resources, except like the Soulstone itself. Here we always get a pirate encounter, so we kill him because we need JP. Surprising, the pirate is the fastest because you have to defend, then do a bow attack, then max trades win, which is Tressa's magic ability. And then you get the kill, which is pretty nice. So we want to keep running for as long as we can because that's obviously faster. But we can walk some places and that just decreases the chance of finding an encounter. But running will increase your encounter's chance. So it sucks because it's random, but you gotta deal with it. So right now, this is the first boss. He can be really mean, or they can be really mean. This is Mick and Mac. So this strat is pretty consistent, but Mick and Mac likes to do 70% of your HP in one turn, or in between turns, because turn order is random. Turn order is based on your speed stat, and we're gonna be really low level, so our speed stat's not gonna be really good. Excuse me, it's not gonna be really impressive. The strat here, you want to hit 2 spears on the Mac. And you can't really see it right now because the splits are covering it. But now we're doing wind attacks on Mick. No, we're doing wind attacks on Mac. Or healing up. I try to heal as soon as I'm at the lowest possible HP to maximize the heal. So if you can't really see, mostly the enemies have, or you can't see on Matt, but on Mick, mostly the enemies have shield. When the shield's at 0, they become breakable. Mick is weak to wind and bow, but that doesn't really matter. No, Mick is the skinny boy on top. English is hard. Mick is a skinny boy. He's weak to dagger and lightning, and we have a thunder soulstone, so that we'll use to break him. And Mick is weak to wind. When they're broken, all the magic will do the same damage. They don't take more damage from magic when they're broken. And here, we just broke him using 4 trade winds. Now we use a large thunder soulstone to kill Mac and to break Mick. And then we end it with a boosted trade winds. You can die real easily, even after healing. You can't expend more than 2 healing grapes, because you have to give the 3rd one to a character for a side quest. Now, we skip cutscene. That's the end of Tressa's Chapter 1. But we can't just go to Tressa's Chapter 2 and 3 and 4. We are heavily unprepared. So, all these cutscenes skipping. Alright, here's the first side quest of the game. So, basically we have to help Kit. So, you think doing side quests might be slow, but the side quests here are really fast, so we can utilize them to get money and other equipment for selling mostly. So, Kit, the Traveler, we do that side quest, easy money in the early game. Now, we are heading north to talk to our boy Cyrus. The only reason we're picking up Cyrus is because he has an ability, a support skill, which I'll talk about that later, called Evasive Maneuvers, which reduces your encounter by 2.5 times. So yeah, we have to get there. We have to deal with encounters though. You can YOLO flee, but I don't recommend that because you usually get screwed over. So now we're just walking up to Cyrus, nothing interesting is happening. Alright, so now as we head to the palace gate, we talk to Cyrus and we recruit him for our team. He does decent damage early game, but we don't need him for his damage. We just need him because he has a good skill. Excuse me. So now we have to do, every time you recruit characters, you have to do their chapter 1 before you can leave this area. Otherwise, we'd just be skipping all the chapter 1s. But it's good XP. And they're really fast. So we have to go into the manor. Now we're looking for 2 lamp enemies to kill here to give exactly 10 JP. Once we have 30 JP, we can learn our first skill, which is going to be on Tressa, Hired Help. Hired Help is broken. Like, if you haven't been using Hired Help, you want it now. Or I'll show you why you need to be using Hired Help. These lamps, if Cyrus go first, you can get effectively a quick kill. Otherwise, it's a 2-turn fight. You can get, or did I say skeletons? Well, there's just these lamps. The skeletons are, you don't want to get the skeletons. Skeletons are really bad because they give 4 JP and then you only get 9 before the fight, which won't work. You can, if you get bonuses, like if you kill the enemy in 1 turn, you get a JP bonus to some percentage. Oh, that was my book. Please ignore that sound. So yeah, you get bonuses for killing stuff fast or breaking, but we don't need it because now the pirate basically guarantees we get the 30 JP though. So now we learn hired help on Tressa, and this is why we spend so much time collecting stuff during the run. Because we need to fuel our capitalism, basically. So this fight, we got a Soulstone M from Mick and Mac, so we're gonna use it to instantly kill the little ice spirits. And then we just set up Cyrus for breaking, what is this? Russell, I think? Yeah. We break Russell here with a quad staff attack, because I guess you can charge up your attacks. So there's like big tiers of boosts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you do more stuff and more damage. Yeah, that's hired help. Hired help just one-shots the soldiers, or one-shots like Russell after a level 4 boost. Now we're done with Cyrus's main quest, but we're not done in Adam. I forgot what it's called. We're not done with this place yet. Atlas Dam. So we have to do Cyrus side quest, then we have to go on a little shopping trip. So more on the boost mechanic. You gain BP per turn. You use BP on an ability, on like a basic attack. You'll hit multiple times on your skills. You'll do more damage per charge. And that's how it works. Actually, you don't get BP after boosting, which is really critical for strats, because you want BP management to kill enemies fast. Basically, you gotta manage it well. And now we have to leave and enter back just to buy some soul stones. We're trying to route this out right now because it's kind of slow, but it's okay. So we buy 3 soul stones, or we buy 2 soul stones using Tressa's ability, and we use Cyrus' ability to scrutinize this little girl to get a hidden soul stone. And yeah, we get a wind, a dark, and a light soul stone. Elements do matter for breaking and weakness purposes, but they're not. It does matter a little bit. So there we learn. So we learned Cyrus Lightning Blast just to deal with the enemies in this region because they're weak to lightning. And we need to learn 2 skills on each of our characters to get a support skill. Support skill to be supporting us. Tressa's support skill is pretty useful. It's called Endless Items. You use an item, you have a 25% chance to save it. Cyrus's ability, Evasive Maneuvers, reduces enemy spawns. Or increases your step counter, basically. Yeah. It increases your step counter so you can walk more without getting encountered. We manipulate the hired help, not hired help, what am I saying? We need to manipulate the evasive maneuvers in order to walk around loading zone to loading zone with no encounters. And then here we have to kill stuff because we need 100 JP for the next skill learning. So now we're going to this forest right here, to the left, or to the west. This forest will have an encounter. It can be really, so usually you want to get good encounters here. The best encounter here is 3 ants, because you can kill that really quickly and get a lot of JP from each of them. But right here I got like 5 frogs total. That's really bad and slow. So we have to basically bless RNG that we get an encounter that gives over 100 JP in the forest. There's one encounter, I think I got it. It's basically a few encounter sets that you can get that will give you the JP. But the thing is, you have to worry about surprise attacks. So surprise attacks can happen at random, and since we're such a lower level, this is a level 15 area, and we're level like, I don't know, like 5? I want to say, we can get first attacked, and we'll basically die most of the time. So 2 bugs and 2 frogs is a pretty safe encounter. The worst one is like 3 frogs and 1 armored frog. Well, yeah, 2 armored frogs and bugs. That's pretty good. We use a light soulstone because they're all weak to light and take additional damage to the soulstone. Well, they're unbroken. So here we learn donate BP on Tressa for a strat later. And we learn Blizzard on Cyrus and equip both of the support skills. And then we continue on. So now we have to recruit Hanet, the Huntress. She'll be useful for breaking enemies and one of her skills, and being a secondary merchant, because one merchant isn't enough. I'll explain about the secondary merchant later, but for right now we're just going to travel to Hanet's area. Oh yeah, we basically do some specific movement in this loading zone just to avoid an encounter here. You can YOLO it and hope to get no encounters. It saves like 10 seconds compared to doing this, but like it's super risky. And if you first turn flee, that's as fast as going into the cave. So it's pretty safe. Now we enter the village of Swarky, I think it's called. Wait for the PB to advance. Yeah, Swarky. And we recruit Hanet the Huntress. One important menu here once it gets to it. We bought the bow for Tressa earlier to increase her magic. That's kind of irrelevant. Now we want to boost Hanet's damage for this next boss, because this next boss is really bad RNG wise. You basically want to hope he doesn't kill anyone, and Hanet needs that bow so she can do enough damage to help finish the boss off. Path for the Whisperwood can be really trolly. Normally you're not supposed to get an encounter, but you can get one at the very end. Same thing with like almost any screen. That if you have bad movement, you can get an encounter where you're not supposed to. Hey, I got the encounter here. Fun fact, these squirrels has a move called These Nuts. It's really funny. Trust me, I have good humor. Kappa. I will probably refer to them as the These Nut Squirrels, because that's what the move they use is. I forget if it's these squirrels or like in another version of the squirrels. One of them. So now we're in the spooky forest, awaiting the giant monster. I should save, but like we're trying to go fast. Saving is not necessary. So this boss can be a real troll. I honestly, I really wish we could skip this boss. So we try to break it turn 2, but I got good RNG. We break it turn 2 so that we can can avoid the most amount of attacks. But sadly, we had a bad turn order. Tressa can't break her without spending too much resources. So we can't reliably break her or break I forgot what it's called. It's some complicated name. You can't break this boss essentially without spending way too much turn on Tressa. And now Hanet died because this boss is mean and targets your supports or your low HP people. And now so after you break him, you use 2 soul stones because he has about 84k or 8,400 HP. So we need those 2 medium soul stones to do 44k damage. Use a max BP hired help dancers with Tressa. That statuses him. Sometimes if you're low damaged, you're gonna need the poison to kill him. It's really funny when you get a poison kill. True Strike doesn't usually kill without being full boost, but because I got such good damage rolls on the hired help, they did kill, so that's really lucky. Yeah, this boss like sucks because if you have anyone die, you waste a lot of time, and you waste. I've never died to this fight without like unintentionally, but like it's pretty easy to get a full party wipe if you're unlucky. If Tressa goes first, she can use hired help to reduce your damage. Because hired help mercenaries applies a defensive shield to you, which is really nice. So now we're gonna do things out of order. So usually, I guess in older routes, we would just go to Therion's Chapter 1 immediately. But instead, we are going to Boulder Fall just for a quick little visit so we can teleport there later. And please don't roast. I do this a slow way, please don't roast me. I didn't realize I was doing this a slow way until someone pointed it out. Yeah. So now we're gonna go Boulder Fall. We're gonna just tag the town so we can warp here later, and then we're gonna actually go to Tressa's Chapter 2. It's faster to go there now because we can buy a large Thunder Soulstone for Therion's boss, and we can progress the quest for later, which is really useful because there's a lot of like detouring you have to do in that area. It's faster if we do it now. So usually this area, you can get one encounter at the very end, which sucks, but in my PB I got a 0 encounter in this area. Getting an encounter here wastes a lot of time because the enemies are like super high level compared to you. I think you're like level 7, they're level 7, but there's 3 of them. It's super hard to break all of them, so I just try to YOLO flee. Doesn't work. Now on to Quarry Crest, where we're gonna do the first half of Tressa's story in the town. That basically involves buying stuff and a lot of stuff. So after buying that stone for him for story reasons, we talked to this dude because he has a large Thunder Soulstone and a medium Thunder Soulstone for us to buy. Those will be useful later. And now we do this part of the quest, which requires 1,500 gold. We grab our first item here, that gold chest above, for a selling item later. We need about, I want to say it's like 180k in total before the end of the run. Something like that. So we have to accumulate that throughout the entire run. Now after we grab that last soulstone in the chest, we warp to Therion's area and we pick him up. Therion is useful for this run because we don't have time to go to the Thieves Shrine. Basically what his use is, well, he's also useful to have around as an item giver. So his main purpose in this entire run is to armor corrosive. Armor corrosive is the only skill in the game that boosts the damage of hired help. So, because hired help is the best skill for this run, we're gonna need Therion to help boost our damage. So this boss is a 2-turn fight always, unless he kills someone, which is really unfortunate. And then you gotta spend time reviving, which is kind of. I've only had a character died to him like once. So yeah, I love the manor music. Once I edited it in, because I had to mute all my audio. So once I edited it in to the manor song, it's super good. I just got a Discord message. I hope that doesn't come in the recording. It shouldn't. Now we kill one encounter here to get enough JP for Therion for stuff later. Actually, we get levels for Therion, duh. we got surprised. So getting surprised is really bad because it just wastes time in these areas. In the higher level areas, they will kill you for sure, and you waste like a minute. That's like the risk with this route. If you get an encounter, you're guaranteed dead. Now, this is Heathcote. And Theron's music is pretty good too. This entire OST is really good. So Heathcote, we want to break him turn 1. We were making this a 2-turn fight. His support soldier can be really bullying, or he can be a real bully. So we're gonna hope that that's what we pray. We pray the soldier doesn't bully us, because Heathcote get broken first turn. So super easy. And then to finish this fight, we use the large Thunder Soulstone, which absolutely destroys Heathcote and the enemy. Because, you know, large Thunder Soulstones are fair and balanced. I guess the other bot, the Chapter 3 bot, or the not Chapter, Hans boss didn't have 65k because Heathcote died. It's like not much. I don't know the HPs off the top of my head. They just do. So now we got the whole squad. We'll be running the squad for the entire run. And now we call this the Grand Old Shopping Tour. Or the Pickup Items Tour. In the old route, we used to go to a place called Everhold to get all of our money. But that's just slow. So now we only go to one place. Like excess. All the other money we grab is on our way, or like in our path. So it's super fast compared to the old route. So here we're heading to Grandport. Grandport is Tressa's Chapter 4 location. So not only is it useful there right now because it has a lot of loot in it we can go grab, but it'll save time later, so we can just warp there. So now we're entering Stoneguard. So we just grabbed that 1200 gold chest. That's what was there for money. Now we're heading to the Shrine of the Warrior just to grab to grab the Warrior subclass. We need the Warrior subclass that makes the fights later easier. So now that we got the Warrior subclass, we basically can become a warrior. So more on the Warrior, so it makes fights easier, and it lets anyone become a warrior. So normally warrior is Ulbrich, but with the Warrior subclass, anyone but Ulbrich can become a warrior because Ulbrich's already a warrior. We put that warrior role on Cyrus. Now we're heading to Goldridge or Goldshore. Yeah, Goldshore. Goldshore's past the Moonstruck Coast. On the Moonstruck Coast, we grab the Shrine of the Merchant because we need doubled hired help, essentially. Now here we do our first save reload. A save reload is basically manipulating the RNG. Not really. That's a really bad way. It's manipulating the step counter. So we save and reload, and our step counter is resetted to the beginning of whatever. So we can basically go somewhere and try to avoid an encounter. You'll see a few more save reloads throughout the run just because it's too long without, even with evasive maneuvers being as good as it is to avoid encounters, we kind of need other forms of movement. Or other forms, yeah, we need to get to places that evasive maneuvers can't help us with. So Shrine of the Merchant, we were going to put that on Honnet. Alright, now that we got the Merchant Shrine, we go to Goldshore. Goldshore is not really a a place that Tressa needs to go to, but we go there for two reasons. A, to reset the step counter for when we go to Grandport, and B, grabbing a large soulstone for the next boss. So we just head north and West Gulcher Coast. Alright, now this is one of the more risky runs, or like walks in the run. More risky runs. This is like, so we have to sprint all the way from Goldshore to this next loading zone, and there's a very low % chance of getting an encounter here, but still like somewhat possible. So we just hope that we don't, and we didn't. So now here in the West Grandport Coast, we grab a chest for 2k gold, because we need all the money we can get. And then we're gonna save reload here, because we definitely don't have enough steps to make it all the way to Grandport, especially with that item grab. So we're gonna save reload. We're all like, by the way, this is a level 45 area. We're all level 9. Any encounter here is definitely fatal, unless you somehow manage to surprise the enemy, or get a first turn Tressa Lucky Cat hired help and kill it all. That's the only reason you would ever use hired help here, because you can't waste money. So now we grab that large Thunder Soulstone, and now we're gonna tag Goldport. Tagging, just heading in and heading out. We're gonna get items here later, but for now we need to go to the dungeon right outside Goldport, Grandport. We're gonna head to the Lock of the Lost King, I think it's called. We're gonna grab 2 chests in there for later on, and then warp back to Grandport. That's the only reason we go there ever. It's Locked of the Lost King. So it's a simple path throughout this area. We head around the stone, and we grab this large Wind Soul Stone, and then that chest in the background we're gonna grab. If Collision's game can be really wonky, you collide on random objects. That chest for 3k. So now we're gonna head back to Grandport, and we're gonna head to the inner Grandport area for items. So now that we're here, we're going to buy 2 large energizing pomegranates from that dude and this dude. This is for the final fight that will take place here. We're just buying them now because we're here anyways. We get the Silverfield pouch for selling. And then we're going to go all the way back into the Grandport Amphitheater. No, Bazaar. Amphitheater is a different area. The Bazaar, we usually go in here. The sign blocks us from going to the sewers, which is the final dungeon of this route. But we can't access those chests anytime before, or anytime during the chapter we're supposed to be here. So we grab them now. Now we warp back to Quarry Crest in order to continue on Tressa's chapter 4. Now we go on to the next fight straight from here after doing 2 cutscenes, or 2 cutscenes, but it's like 4 in total. Now we head on to Omar's Manse, or not Omar, Morlock's Manse, there. Omar is the boss, which I was looking at my splits for. Now this place can suck for encounters. If you get an encounter here, you barely can escape. So we don't get an encounter here. I think I do, but I flee from it immediately. Or I save 20 seconds. One or the other. No, yeah, I didn't get an encounter here. You can get an encounter there. It sucks. It wastes like 30 seconds. Now in Morlock's Manse, there's not much we can grab here besides what's in the purple chest. If I haven't explained, I don't think we ever got a purple chest. A purple chest is a chest only Therion can unlock. We grab 1 or 2 throughout the entire run. I think 1. We grab in the next room a Hasty Helm, which is from that chest. Hasty Helm, we need to put it on Tressa so she has more speed and can go before the enemies. Now we always get an encounter here, so instead of dying, we kill it with a Wind Soulstone. Sometimes you can get really unlucky and they first attack you. Most of the time it's the lamps, they don't do much damage. So we need to do that fight round 1 or turn 1 to get the JP so we can equip our characters for the longest menu of the run. Essentially what we do in this menu, we equip the helm onto Tressa that we just got. We switch Cyrus and Hanet over to their late game jobs. We teach 2 skills on Cyrus, both of them I'll explain later. We equip Hanet with the Merchant and learn Hired Help. And then we learn Lego Trap on Hanet and Armor Corrosive on Therion. And that's it. On Cyrus we learned Insight, which is a skill that makes the enemy target him. And 1,000 Spears, which is used to break everything. Because everything in this run is weak to spear and bow, which is really useful. So in the beginning of this fight, this is Omar. We want to kill those 2 lackeys as fast as possible because they are annoying. Omar can kill. I think Omar can kill someone. It's really annoying. Yeah, he killed Cyrus, least important character. We don't want him killing any of our important characters. Cyrus went her first turn, so that was really lucky. Even though, so 1,000 Spears can hit up to 7 times. But it has a high chance of missing. So there we break Omar, we Armor Corrosive him, and then we use a Thunder Soulstone just to damage him so he dies. And then we have Max Boost Veteran Soldiers, or their friends, because they do that. It's 7k damage per hit early game. This is chapter 2. You're supposed to be level like 12 for this, and you can just do it anytime. You're like level 20, and you're doing 7k damage per hit. This is absurd for this little level. Higher Help's damage is consistent, and there's a fixed consistent amount. So with Armor Corrosive, it'll always do like 8k per hit, or 7k per hit, depending on the defense of the boss, so forth. So now we've defeated Omar, and restored peace to the Quarry Quest. Oh my, Quarry Quest. We head north up to Victor's Hollow, where we start Tressa's Chapter 3. On the way, we're gonna make a quick little detour to get the Shrine of the Huntress. This is really, I want to say it's not necessary, but it is kind of necessary. So we give the Hunter skill to Tressa, not because she's the cutest in the Hunter outfit, but she can make the most use. So just a little detour. Checking if I'm recording still, which I am. Yeah, we grabbed this Olive of Life L just for selling purposes. No other reason, because we need money. This is a quick menu where you just put the job and the skill and teach this Lego Trap onto Tressa. Lego Trap is more used in the final fight. It can be used on Omar for safety, but it's basically you use it exclusively on the last boss, which is RNG fun. Here starts our trip into Victor's Hollow. You basically just skip a bunch of side quests, we talk to our old friend, Captain Leon Bastrel, or what I think his name is. We're helping him get his map back, or his friend's map back. Leon was a chapter 1 friend. He helped us get back the town from the pirates, or something like that. And now we buy the shield. We have plenty of money, and now we're gonna take a quick little detour. We have a little forest here called the Forest of No Return. Except we are gonna return. We grab 3 items here, all for selling and 1 for the boss fight. If you get lucky with endless items, you can probably skip the soul stone that you usually grab here. So you grab elemental glaive, silent bandana, and large shadow soul stone. Which is all right there. We warp out and head back to Victor's Hollow. We're gonna do a massive selling spree at the beginning of chapter 4. So I should probably explain Tressa's ability. She has a side ability where she picks up money off the ground. And it's a formula of the money you get is like the danger level times the steps walk. Now we're doing this side quest right now just so we can get money. It's a really quick side quest. You scrutinize that lady, and then you talk to the soldier, or I think it's a warrior. I think that I do it. There's like one more time you can do it. It's probably faster. And now we just do it for the gem and the money, which it all goes to selling, because we need 90k before we enter the last dungeon. To explain why later. Now we start our distance to the Lost Grotto. You can encounter here. It sucks. You're dying immediately. The Forgotten Grotto. My bad. So yeah, you can die to any encounter now. So we do 2 save reloads in this dungeon, or you can skip the second one, but it's not worth it because you lose way too much time. Go world map and skip having an encounter. In this dungeon we grab 2k chests, I think 15k, and then that barely gives us enough money to do the boss. Or not to do the boss, to do the last boss. Each save and reload takes about 20 seconds, but if you can skip one, that's really good. Otherwise, it's not worth skipping. Alright, this is Venom Tooth. I think is it Venom Tooth? Yeah, it's Venom Tooth. So Venom Tooth is 100% consistent unless you miss a menu. We don't want him to attack at all. He has a lethal AoE attack that will one-shot all of us since we are like 600 HP. So everyone has to do a specific thing. Tressa will donate BP to Hanet. Therion will just boost armor corrosive. Hanet will rain of arrows to break Rain of Arrows will always consistently break 3 shield. So it's not, even though it's randomly hitting 4 to 7 times, it's consistent at least 3. Thousand Spear will break him. This move can waste time if it goes on too long. You can even get 2 good RNG and get all 6 breaks immediately. That rarely happens. So this turn we do 2 sets of veteran soldiers, 1 3 boosted and 1 4 boosted. And that gets him down to like 1,000 HP, or less than 5,000 HP. Here we're gonna steal from the cat because we need the olive for money. We're gonna just do something with Cyrus. We're gonna collect with Tressa because we need money. collect will give you money depending on the boss or the enemy. Bosses usually give a lot, and then we Shadow Soulstone to end them off. And then we get a bunch of levels. And then the most awkward text box in the middle of cutscenes. Now we head to our boy Leon and give him his letter. And now, I guess for plot reasons, we're getting all this stuff, helping all these people get an item to sell at the Grand Bazaar Expo. So yeah, he gives us a really valuable gem. I forgot what it's called. It was called something. Now we just flat out warp to Grandport. And then I have a habit of hitting no to that menu, so let's hope I don't like an actual. And that's the phone going off. I hope that doesn't come too loudly. So now we're in Grandport. This is when we do our Sellapalooza, where we just sell everything we don't need. We sell. I got fish too, so that's a lucky drop. It's waste time though. We sell everything. You need about 90k, but you can do like 89 or 88k. That barely gets you enough from the collect money passive. Now we go to the market. For some reason, this random person steals our precious journal, which we got back in chapter 1. So we need to get it back. It's our personal treasure. Then we go into I don't know why we chase her down to the sewers. Her name is Esmeralda. She's a fun boss. So while nothing's going on while we go through the dungeon, well, first I should probably explain. There's a risky encounter in the dungeon, but Esmeralda is the most inconsistent fight of this run. Like, I practice her for hours, or practice her boss fight for hours, but have no good consistent strat. It's entirely up to turn order and what she does and who she kills that determines how well your fight goes. Usually I can adapt to most situations, but there are some cases where she will flat out just kill you and your party. So the sewers is a pretty consistent walk. You can get, actually I shouldn't say that. You can get one encounter in the sewers at the very end, which is really suckish. I usually save, but as the risky individual I am, skip the save. You can also get a backup olive if you're low on olives because you've had bad RNG. Esmeralda, you basically want to keep, my goal for the first turns, you want to try to do spear damage and try to also revive anyone who dies. Cyrus is like the least, we want, typically in round 1, you want to have everyone alive, or at least Cyrus and one of the merchants dead. Because we need, oh yeah, right, we usually use Lego Trap, but like, yeah, that can happen. So we use, Lego Trap gives us more options on what to do. So we basically use Lego Trap. She only goes at the end of the turn now. Excuse me, Lego Trap makes all your enemies go at the end of the turn. So now Hana's dead, which is really bad because we need 2 boost higher healths right now. So what I did was revive Hana and boosted her SP. This is why we got the energizing pomegranates. Actually, I got good turn order, so I have to armor corrosive Therion, or else the whole strat's ruined. But since Therion is gonna go before Hana, we can do this. We can just feed her a pomegranate. Insight is used to make Esmeralda target Cyrus only. Otherwise, her move would hit everyone and kill everyone, which is really bad. This fight can go. So after the first break, it's infinitely consistent. Like, you don't have to worry about anything after this phase. Yeah, that first part of the fight can get really rough because then that turner like that, she can just kill your entire team. kill like 3 people. She'll always kill 3 people first off. Then the one I'm saying is her attack pattern is pretty consistent. So you know what she's gonna do. She just don't know where, or like who she's gonna hit. Now we break her with double rain of arrows. Now we have only 3k money or 30k money right now. Veteran Soldiers uses 30k per cast, so we're gonna max boost collect to get 30k money, so we can do 2 more hired helps. If I didn't, I should have explained, but if I didn't explain, you need money for hired helps. And now we end the fight here with a 3 boost and a 4 boost hired help. Yeah, I feel like I didn't explain, but that the only reason where we got all that money is for hired help, because hired help is, instead of using mana, it uses money. And that's the fight. That's the end of the run. Timing ends on the last cutscene on the beach. Now, I hope I explained everything. I'm probably not going to check all this recording. I hope I said everything I needed to say. And final remarks. This run may not be... It's super safe for the most part, except for like a few bosses. There are very little times where I'll be like a few minutes behind. But this run is a pretty good RPG run. It's only an hour long, and it's pretty fun and it's not consistent if you're going fast. But doing runs, I can get consistent 55 minutes, depending on how good RNG I get, which is pretty much most of the time. Now the credits music is really good, so I'm gonna stop the recording. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.